Thank you. Thank you. Wisdom will kill me one of these days. Teacher asked me what's your favorite flower, and I said chrysanthemum. Then, she asked me to spell it. I was joking, my favorite flower is rose, R-O-S-E. Only in South Africa you will see where a person named his dog Spider. My dad asked me, who do you like more, mum or dad? I said both. He said okay, if he goes to America and your mum goes to Paris, where will I go? I said Paris. He said, that means you like your mum more. No, that means I like Paris. Dad said okay, if he goes to Paris, and mum goes to America, where will I go? I said America. Dad asked why. Well, 'cause I'll have been to Paris before. Dad became angry. When did you go to Paris? In the first question you asked me. A doctor wanted to heal 3 mad people. He asked the first madman, 3 plus 3. He replied, 2,500. You are really mad, said the doctor. The second madman, 3 plus 3 equals Wednesday. Doctor said, you are not far from death. The third man answered, 3 plus 3 equals 6. Doctor shouts bravo. How did you get the answer? He replied, I divided 2,500 by Wednesday. The doctor collapsed. I was on a sofa next to my wife who was eating and typing on her phone. So I heard my phone ringing in the kitchen where I was charging it. I went to check. The SMS was from my wife and she wrote, bring the salt on your way back. Yesterday I decided to cause a trouble. So, I went to a restaurant, and after seeing every table being occupied by couples, I took a very loud phone call and say, friend, your man is here with another woman, just come and see. 8 men got up and took off. Who else grew up thinking Satan lives underground? A robber robs a bank, gets all the money, and is about to leave, but before that he asks a customer who's lying on the floor, have you seen me rob this bank? Yes, sir, says the customer, and gets promptly shot. Have you seen me rob this bank? The robber asks another customer. Absolutely not, sir, but my wife here saw everything. Welcome to South Africa, where blacks take off their shoes to run faster. When you are bored, just think of a few things that don't make sense, like, if poison expires, is it more poisonous or it's no longer poisonous? Which letter is silent in the word scent? S or C? Do twins ever realize that one of them was unplanned? Why is the letter W in English called W? Shouldn't it called double V? Maybe oxygen is slowly killing you and it just takes 75 to 100 years to fully work. Every time you clean something, you just make something else dirty. The word swims, and upside down still swims. The pain of visiting your relatives and money goes missing, then they say this is the first time this happens. Mrs. Clan goes to the doctor, with bruises on her face. The doctor asks, what happened? Mrs. Clan says, doctor, I don't know what to do. Every time my husband comes home drunk, he slaps me around. The doctor says, I have a real good cure for that. When your husband comes home drunk, just take a glass of water, and start swishing it in your mouth. Just swish and swish, but don't swallow it, until he goes to bed and is asleep. 2 weeks later the woman comes back to the doctor looking fresh and rejuvenated. Mrs. Clan, doctor, that was a brilliant idea. Every time my husband came home drunk, I swished with water. I swished and swished, and he didn't touch me. How does the water do that? The doctor says, the water does nothing at all, it's keeping your mouth shut that does the trick. Interviewer asked me, can you handle pressure? Me, yes. I owe my landlord 6-month rent allowance, and I still don't care. I created a fake Facebook account and started chatting to my girlfriend. She just told me her boyfriend died 4 months ago. A huge amount in telephone bill caused panic in family. The phone bill was exceptionally high. Man called a family meeting to discuss. Dad said, "This is unacceptable. I don't use home phone, I use my work phone." Mum said, "Me too. I hardly use home phone. I use my company's phone." Son said, "I use my office mobile. I never use the home phone." All of them shocked, and together looked at the maid who's patiently listening to them, and she said, "What? So we all use our work phones? What's the big deal?" Alan goes into a pharmacy, reaches into his pocket and takes out a small Irish whiskey bottle and a teaspoon. He pours from the bottle onto the teaspoon and offers it to the chemist. "Could you taste this for me, please?" The chemist takes the teaspoon, puts it in his mouth, swirls the liquid around and swallows it. "Does that taste sweet to you?" says Alan. "No, not at all," says the chemist. "Oh, that's a relief," says Alan. "The doctor told me to come here and get my urine tested for sugar." Yesterday my friends dropped by my place without warning for a cup of tea. The wife pulled me aside and said, "There's no sugar in the house. How can I serve tea?" I winked at her and said, "Make tea without sugar for all. Leave the rest to me." As soon as the tea was served, then I said to my guests, "Let's play a game of chance. 1 cup of tea has no sugar. Whoever gets it will take us all for dinner tonight." The result: all guests claimed they had never tasted such sweet tea. You need brains in your swag times.